What if I told you that one missing guardrail, one undocumented training, or one unlabeled chemical could cost your company over $15,000, or even a life? Every year in the United States, thousands of companies are fined millions of dollars, not because they wanted to break the law, but because they didn't understand OSHA requirements or ignored simple safety rules. Here's the shocking truth. Most OSHA violations are 100% preventable. Most companies cited by OSHA never expected an inspection, and most injured workers never thought it would happen to them. If you are a construction worker, factory employee, warehouse staff, supervisor or safety officer, small business owner, or just someone who wants to stay safe at work, then this video could save your job, your company, or your life. Today, I will break down the most common OSHA violations in the United States, what they are, why they happen, and most importantly, how to avoid them easily and legally. Let's get started. What is OSHA and why it matters? Before we dive into violations, we need to understand one thing clearly. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, commonly known as OSHA, is a federal agency under the U.S. Department of Labor. OSHA was created to do one simple thing: ensure safe and healthy working conditions for workers in the United States. Duties of OSHA. OSHA sets safety standards, conducts workplace inspections, investigates accidents and fatalities, issues citations and fines, can shut down unsafe operations. And OSHA does not care if you are a big company or a small business, you are new or experienced, you didn't know the rule. Ignorance is not a defense. Let's look into the common area of OSHA violation in the United States and how to avoid them. Fall protection violations. Fall protection violations have been the #1 OSHA citation for over a decade. Because falls are the leading cause of death in construction and one of the most common causes of serious injuries in general industry. Common fall protection violations are: working at heights without guardrails, no safety harness or lanyard, improperly installed scaffolding, uncovered floor openings, missing toe boards, unsafe ladders. OSHA rule explained simply: if a worker is 6 feet or more above a lower level in construction, 4 feet or more in general industry, fall protection is required. For example, a worker installs ducting on a platform 8 feet high, no guardrails, no harness, no warning lines, one slip, one fall, permanent injury or death. How to avoid fall protection violations. Install proper guardrails, use approved fall arrest systems, cover all floor openings, inspect ladders and scaffolds daily, train workers on fall hazards, never improvise fall protection. Simple rule: if you can fall, you must be protected. Hazard communication violations. Hazard communication means workers have the right to know about hazardous chemicals they work with. This is commonly called HazCom. Common HazCom violations: missing safety data sheets, SDS, unlabeled chemical containers, no written HazCom program, workers not trained on chemical hazards, using secondary containers without labels. This is dangerous because chemicals can cause burns, poisoning, respiratory damage, cancer, long-term illness, and many workers are exposed without knowing it. How to avoid HazCom violations. Maintain an updated SDS binder, label every container properly, create a written HazCom program, train workers annually, use pictograms and simple language, never store unknown chemicals. If workers don't understand the chemical, you are already violating OSHA. Scaffolding violations. Scaffolds are temporary, but the risks are permanent. Common hazards with scaffolds include collapses, falls, overloading, improper access. Common scaffolding violations are: no guardrails, improper planking, no safe access ladder, scaffold not inspected, unstable foundation, workers climbing the frame. OSHA requirements simplified. A scaffold must support 4 times the intended load. Scaffold must be inspected by a competent person. Guardrails required above certain heights. Safe access must be provided. How to avoid scaffolding violations. Use trained scaffold erectors, inspect scaffolds daily, never overload platforms, provide proper access ladders, install guardrails and toe boards. Respiratory protection violations. Workers breathe dust, fumes, vapors, gases. Without protection, lungs are permanently damaged. Common respiratory violations includes no respiratory protection program, no fit testing, no medical evaluation, wrong type of respirator, dirty or damaged respirators. OSHA rule simplified. If respirators are required, you must have a written program. How to avoid respiratory violations. Conduct air monitoring, choose correct respirators, provide medical evaluations, fit test workers, train on use and maintenance, store respirators properly. Lockout/tagout LOTO violations. Machines kill silently. Unexpected startup can causes crush, cut, electrocute, amputate. Common violations. No LOTO procedures, workers not trained, lockout devices missing, using tags instead of locks, maintenance done while energized. How to avoid LOTO violations. Develop written procedures, identify all energy sources, use proper lockout devices, train authorized employees, verify isolation before work. Machine guarding violations. Moving parts don't forgive mistakes. Machine guarding violations. Missing guards, guards removed for convenience, inadequate guarding, exposed rotating parts. How to avoid machine guarding violations. Install proper guards, never remove guards, train operators, inspect machines regularly, shut down unsafe equipment. Electrical safety violations. Common electrical violations includes exposed wiring, missing covers, overloaded circuits, improper grounding, temporary wiring used permanently. How to avoid electrical violations. Use qualified electricians, inspect cords and panels, label electrical panels, lock out before work, never bypass protection. PPE violations. Many employers don't assess hazards, don't enforce PPE use. Common PPE violations includes no hazard assessment, workers not wearing PPE, wrong PPE selected, no training. How to avoid PPE violations. Conduct hazard assessments, provide correct PPE, train workers on proper use of PPE, enforce compliance, replace damaged PPE. How to stay OSHA compliant. Safety starts with management commitment, train workers regularly, document everything, fix hazards immediately, never wait for an inspection. Safety is cheaper than fines. Safety saves lives. If this video helped you, like this video. Subscribe to Safety Explained Simply. Turn on notifications. Comment below. Which OSHA violation do you see most at your workplace? Remember, safety is not common sense, it is trained sense. Stay safe. Stay compliant.